What's up, everyone? It's Jonathan with Creative Horizon Coaching, and super excited to do this one. This is my first episode on YouTube, and I see it as this area for me to really expand on a lot of those Instagram posts that I make, which have to be quick, short, to the point. So I'm very excited to have you here. This episode is my first episode on imposter syndrome. So we're going to really work on defining imposter syndrome, normalizing it, and reframing it. So first, imposter syndrome is extremely common for creatives. It doesn't mean that you're broken. It doesn't mean that you're behind or unqualified. It often shows up, and I made a post about this the other day. Imposter syndrome often shows up when your work is starting to matter, when you're starting to get visibility. There was a quote that I used, and I don't remember if it was the caption or the recorded portion, but imposter syndrome rarely shows up for somebody that's unqualified at something. So, let's say that again. Imposter syndrome rarely shows up for someone that's unqualified. Alright, so let's give a definition to imposter syndrome. We've got a lot of possibilities here, but kind of a textbook definition. Persistent fear of being exposed as a fraud. So we'll go with that definition for this episode. Now, a very important note from the get-go on imposter syndrome is it's not fact-based. It's not evidence-based. A lot of the times it comes from a trauma earlier on in our life. That can be a number of things. We won't get too deep into the trauma part, but it's usually something that was said, something that maybe wasn't said, that kind of plants this seed for imposter syndrome. So, for creatives, it often attaches to identity and belonging. So, identity, I'm not really an artist. I'm not really a musician. Belonging would be something like, I don't deserve to be here. Now, one important distinction we want to make here is self-doubt questions ability. Imposter syndrome questions belonging. One more time. Self-doubt questions ability. Imposter syndrome questions belonging. So, how does imposter syndrome show up for creatives? Sometimes ways here. I'm going to list some examples. Kind of some common thought patterns, we'll call them. Everyone else knows what they're doing except me. If they really knew me, they realize I'm not that good. I just got lucky. I shouldn't be here yet. So, there's some examples, again, maybe in different wording, that's how imposter syndrome appears to you, those thoughts. But what we can do with these is, first of all, just be aware that we're having them. That's a key right there. Awareness is what allows us to even recognize these thought patterns that we may have been having for so long, that's why they've become this normal thought. So, one important insight here is that imposter syndrome often increases our growth. Again, it tends to actually show up when our work is starting to or being seen, when the stakes are just higher for us. Our identity, our unique identity is shifting. So we've started to become aware of the imposter syndrome thoughts. We want to normalize these. One of the biggest ways is, look, it doesn't matter what musician, what artist, I'm talking about the greats or the established. Insert any of them here, and they dealt with imposter syndrome in some way, shape, or form. I've read interviews of some of the greatest musicians of all time, and they still get anxiety before performances. And this is, 5 decades into performing. But anxiety, we can reframe that right there. That's excitement. That means that you're still passionate. You love what you do. It can be a good thing. So, again, imposter syndrome, it often increases with our growth. Now, let's start to try and reframe imposter syndrome. One way, visibility does not equal fraud. So, when I say visibility, I mean, making those Instagram posts of your work, creating that sales website. Maybe for the musician, it's releasing that first song onto a streaming platform, or maybe it's just taking a 30, 45-second clip of that song and posting it on Instagram. We're being visible, right? That doesn't equate to being a fraud. Being visible, it feels vulnerable. Vulnerability is a great thing, but just because of what vulnerability is, I feel sensitive right now. I just put something very, very meaningful, something I worked hard on out to the masses. And yeah, there's a high possibility that there are going to be some people that they don't understand it. It wasn't meant for them. But you know what? The other side of that is putting the work out there is the only way we get in touch with our authentic audience. So that authentic audience, that's who our art, who our music, that's who it moves, that's who we're looking for. So we need to be seen. Growth. It stretches our identity before the confidence catches up. And this is another important thing to consider here. Our confidence, the more steps we make to get our art out there, that confidence follows, but it's not this instant thing. Using myself as an example, my first probably 10 posts, I was a nervous wreck. Oh my gosh, I didn't have confidence while doing the actual posts. My confidence was knowing that I've helped artists and musicians find clarity, and I believe I can do it for the masses. That's where my confidence was. Now, fast forward, I don't even know how many posts I've done at this point, but I was talking to my partner last night, mentioning, it's interesting, reflecting on this confidence that I'm building with my own posts. And, it's micro steps, but I can look back, at those initial posts versus my recent posts, and that confidence has gone up and gone up and gone up. It continues. But again, it's not immediate. It's kind of a slow trickle thing. So, we're reframing the visibility does not equal fraud. Let's talk about not needing to feel ready. And again, another way of putting that is not waiting for that perfect time. If we're waiting for the perfect time, we're procrastinating. Perfect will never come. We have to take those micro steps to get to this level that others see as, oh wow, that was the perfect canvas, or that was, the perfect album, all the songs just went together, whatever it is. Again, though, if we're waiting for perfection, we're never going to get there. What we want is progress. Progress leads to momentum. Progress leads to clarity. With the clarity of us going for what is truly authentic for us, and that applies to, the voice of our art or the voice of our music, something that's truly coming from our heart. That's when we're ready. And again, the perfect time, it doesn't exist. So try and get that out of your mind if you can. Again, confidence, that's going to follow. And it's that slow trickle. So, all right, I'm actually going to wrap this up. I really want to keep on going, but this is the first episode. And again, I was just excited to be able to, truly be myself and kind of expand more on imposter syndrome. I hope to do this for the next hour. For some of you that have joined me in one-on-one coaching sessions, I've been able to really expand on it and talk specific to somebody about it. But this was my attempt to do it for the masses. So one thing I want to mention, I do plan on continuing these episodes. They'll be very much in alignment with my Instagram posts. Just again, a bit more thorough. But one thing I want to mention, I've created a toolkit for creatives, and it deals with awareness, it deals with mindset, two very key components in growth for creatives. So you can find those in my link on YouTube, the free download. You can find those in my link on Instagram, the free download, or you can just head directly to my website, www.creativehorizoncoaching.com, and just click the free resources tab. So, thank you all if you've made it this far, and looking forward to creating more videos like this.